How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on... Am I on the air? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sunday, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley. 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, Sundays with Andrew Zarian. Hopefully I'm on the air. I got nothing on this side, but what can you do? Anyway, we're going to barrel on through. I'll get it fixed for the next segment for those of you that can't hear hear anything. But it is Tuesday here on the show, and you know what that means? Nothing is working. All right, we're just going to do something real quick, then we'll get going. All right, y'all hear me there? Everybody got me? All right, so it's some problem here. All right, who cares? All right, we got a lot to get into here today on the show. A lot of big news, including the announcement that starting in 2026, WWE PLEs will air on ESPN as part of the new streaming service. Still a lot of questions we don't have answered, although we will have them soon. And, a lot of the questions will involve, what are you going to have to pay next year? Because now it's like this, this Peacock deal where... you pay like whatever you pay. It's like, I don't know what the tiers are, and they keep raising the price. But anyway, you do that and you just get the shows. Well, with ESPN, the way it works with UFC is you've got to pay for ESPN Plus monthly, and then you have to pay for the pay-per-views on top of whatever you would pay for ESPN Plus. So significantly more expensive. And my guess is... that is probably what's going to happen in terms of this new deal, because as we'll talk about, a lot of people have been talking about a lot of things, but Triple H noted these PLEs are going to be more extravagant than ever, and that usually means they're making more money than ever. And, of course, they're making more money for the deal, but a lot to get into there, plus all the news, NXT, and more. Filthy Tom joins us back in a moment. Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful.
I am going to channel the well-known, infamous roast of Bryan and Lance.
Oh, my God.
I vaguely remember this.
Lance was a champion in virtually every company he has appeared in. While he did hold the distinction of holding 3 titles, that angle fizzled out faster than his podcast, Killing the Town.
Wow. I now remember this utter disaster of a roast.
Let's get Lance a chair to sit in. And as we do, could we also bring someone up here to show him how to use it? I remember that chair shot. I don't remember who it was on, but
utter silence that this roast was met with.
Tom, at least I was smart enough not to do those chair shots again.
Bryan, besides me, there are others who I'm sure dislike you, like Vince Russo, Eric Bischoff, but I think you're great, like a guiding light or a father, which is why I'm not surprised when you screw me every week. The best-selling author of The Death of WCW. He had just completed his new book, for which actually Lance Storm wrote the foreword, which is 3 more than most wrestling fans know.
Hideous. Atrocious.
It must be hard when you look so young. If I didn't know better, I'd say you had your grandma's jeans. But actually, if the camera panned down, I bet Lance is wearing them. Anyways, let's start the show. Carmelo went for the La Mystica. Andrade went for the Message.
It's actually not the La Mystica. It starts like a La Mystica, but the La Mystica is actually a submission, and he doesn't land in the submission. He just does the whole slam part and then jumps up.
Yeah, the La Mystica is a tilt-a-whirl head scissor into a Fujiwara armbar.
Into a Fujiwara armbar. The La Mystica is not the submission. Do not tell me.
I didn't say that was a submission. I said the La Mystica involves the tilt-a-whirl facebuster into the submission. The whole thing. Why are you so angry?
Well, you just changed what you said and lied. Right?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't land in a submission. He just slams them. So it's not a La Mystica.
I believe that's the actual move.
Okay,
but
whatever. Who cares?
I just hope editor Sean pulls up the exact clip of you saying Lemistica's a submission and then denying it afterwards.
Lemistic is actually a submission. I didn't say that was a submission.
Lemistic is actually a submission? I didn't say that was a submission.
Editor Sean.
We're back here on the show, but at this point, there's not going to be a podcast because I can't record anything because apparently this computer updated like overnight and now nothing works. So, Tom, before we get into the real big news, give everybody some thoughts on NXT here. I don't know if we have your video either. Do we have Tom's video? Awesome.
Oh, you know what? Well, I'm on the wrong link. That's why.
Okay.
That one's on me. But some thoughts on NXT?
Why don't you get linked up?
Last night?
Yeah.
What a comedy of errors that are going on right now. I don't know if you really want to hear I think we should both get into NXT later, but I have some thoughts on this big Hulu deal. Or
Why don't you
ESPN,
talk about that while I
say.
deal this, and then we'll tell everybody what's going on.
Yeah. Okay, so as was mentioned at the top of the show, it appears, well, it doesn't appear, it's factual that WWE is moving its premium live events to ESPN in the United States in 2026. Now,
I'll just do it. God.
There are
you worry about your video. I'm so irritated right now. I'm just so irritated. All right, starting in 2026, WWE premium live events will air on ESPN in the US, part of the new streaming service. According to the Wall Street Journal, deal is reportedly for $1.6 billion over 5 years, which is $325 million per year. Official start date has not been announced. It's all but certain to be with this year's WrestleMania from Las Vegas. Deal may also include ESPN streaming both pre- and post shows for the PLEs. The new ESPN streaming service launches August 21st. $30 a month. So WWE fans will have to pay considerably more than they were with Peacock. ESPN negotiating with UFC as well. So, there's a few things here. Number one, you're going to have to pay $30 a month instead of whatever you were paying for Peacock, okay? That we know for sure.
possibly.
What do you mean possibly?
Well, it depends what you already have.
Okay, but the point is, like, you're going to need to pay, you're going to need to get this ESPN streaming service, okay? You have to get that if you want to watch the PLEs. The question is going to be, will you then have to pay for the pay-per-view, the PLE, on top of that cost? That I don't think we know yet.
I believe they said no.
They did say no?
I believe that's the case. I believe that these PLEs are built in. There's 12 of them that will happen over the year. Actually, it's 10 events over 12 nights because SummerSlam and WrestleMania are both 2-night events, right? Those will be in that deal. But also, Brian, if you have an existing package, like you use YouTube TV, correct?
Yes.
As do I. We get this direct-to-consumer ESPN package for free with our subscription. We don't need to do anything else. We will now be able to just log in to that app.
So you're telling me that on YouTube TV at this point, I will just be able to watch the PLEs with no extra charge.
You will not be able to watch it on YouTube TV. You will have to log into the ESPN app, which will be free to you because you have a subscription through a cable provider to ESPN. So if you have ESPN through YouTube TV, you will get it. If you have it through DirecTV, whatever cable system you have, Xfinity, you will get this ESPN app for free. It's part of the deal.
All right, so this morning, according to the chat, and at least someone's on top of this, unlike me, Nick Khan did say that your $30 gets you all the shows. So it'll be very much like the Peacock deal, except for some people, significantly more expensive, $30 a month.
we also have to think, Brian, okay, because previous to YouTube TV, I had Hulu Plus Live, right, which is still around. However, that's going to be joining forces in some manner with Fubo. So I don't know if that is going to go away, because if you just have to have the Hulu Live package along with Disney Plus and ESPN Plus, you're probably paying what's similar to you'd pay on YouTube TV, maybe $80 a month. So you're also going to have that built in, unless they take away Hulu. So that's going to be another, unless they take away Hulu Live, I'm sorry. So that'll be another thing to look at.
So Nick Khan did say the deal, the amount of shows could always grow. They asked him about, what about Evolution? And he said, it's going to be 10 shows. Because WrestleMania and SummerSlam are 2 nights, that's 12 shows. So that's the deal as of now. That could change. And it's a 5-year deal.
Yeah, the big ones will be around. It'll be WrestleMania, obviously, yes. SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Money in the Bank, Royal Rumble. And then he mentioned the upcoming Clash at Paris as kind of a prototype for what you may see in the future, kind of as other shifting events throughout the year.
So at this point, NXT. So here are questions that we don't know. And unlike the last question, which everyone knew except me, these are questions I don't think anybody knows. What's going on with the library? At this point, we don't know. What's going on with, NXT? NXT and the library, I guess they're going to try to figure out what to do with that. It may end up being a separate deal. I mean, they might make a deal with Peacock for, the current library and maybe some of the other events. It's
maybe
possible.
AAA.
Yeah.
It's been rumored that they're trying to help TNA get on Peacock, right?
Well, actually,
no.
I don't know if I should... listen, let me make this clear. Maybe I'll have to say this about 50 times. I am not reporting this as a fact, okay? Do you understand? I'm not reporting this as a fact. This is not reporting anything. But it is very strongly rumored that TNA could end up on the CW soon. So they obviously have been negotiating for a deal, and that has certainly been very, very strongly rumored. So, obviously the association with WWE would have played into that. But I guess we'll and what day is also... It's very much being discussed, and I'm sure you can probably figure out what the rumor is as far as to what day that show would air on the CW. Would you like to guess?
My guess would be Wednesday.
A lot of rumors it would be Wednesday on the CW. I get it and everything like that, but just keep it on Thursday. I mean, come on. So anyway, that's that, and we'll have more on this after a while.
It's not really that, because there's another large player in this entire thing, and that's the UFC media rights, which have not been settled either. So currently, you have to pay extra to ESPN. It's possible that these UFC rights get split across multiple platforms, and maybe some of the events would be on Amazon. Maybe some will end up on Netflix. And maybe some of them will end up on ESPN. So that's something else that you need to kind of look at for the future, is how is that all going to tie in, along with the upcoming TKO boxing venture.
Well, tell us about that.
What is there to say about it? Run by Turkey and Dana. I mean, if you look at the lay of the land, as Dave has noted on The Observer, in the world of boxing, this is the first time in a long time that there are no national broadcast deals for boxing. And in my opinion, the reason why none of the companies kind of jumped on hooking up with one of these promotional companies is because they're waiting. They're waiting for this UFC-backed boxing company to get its footing, and then I expect you'll see it on a national platform. You gonna make it?
I'm not. Can we go to a break, Dom? We'll be back in a second, everybody. Observer Live. We did, in fact, by popular demand, watch Ready to Rumble.
The champion is some fat loser.
Yeah, he's a completely talentless, no athletic ability, can't wrestle, broke bum that walked out on his wife and kid.
But he was
he's
over.
the world champion.
He
and
was.
in the movie, the
Well, yeah, but
storyline
that's a
is-
microcosm of wrestling, sadly.
Yes.
He feels so bad about drinking this entire slushy that cost $1.26, and he sticks his finger in his asshole and walks up to the clerk.
Lance is dying. How could the movie be so bad?
I'm not going to fault the man for that, of all the things in the movie.
I thought for
okay?
sure you were going to say you'd done this before.
There's a reason I'm not going to fault the man for that.
I just think with all the porta potties and farting in this, that I think Vince McMahon was a secret producer on this film. Had to have been.
So then we get the Shermanator. He's playing a WCW arcade game. He uses some internet sleuthing to find the personal information of Jimmy King.
He's searching the internet. Can find out anything on here. This movie was so antiquated. Every Nitro Girl is in a Nitro Girl outfit, except for this girl. They had her
want
dance
her
in something
to stand
totally
out,
different.
Brian, like the captain.
So we're so stupid. I got it.
Captain
Yes,
Stabbin.
if you're watching this film, you're that stupid. I'm sorry.
But I was also insulted by the fact they hired Michael Buffer to announce the Royal Bash, the fake-ass Royal Bash.
$24 million budget.
Wow.
And probably 500,000 of that went to Michael Buffer. It made 12. You know, we
He
should mention
unveils-
this cage match is the triple-decker Cage of Doom. Everybody buried it. It was horrible. Everybody hated it. And so they decided to make a movie. And what is the final battle? It's another goddamn triple-decker cage match. This would be like in 2010 if like TNA made a movie and the final match was a reverse battle royal.
They throw powder in someone's face, DDP's, I think, or somebody's, and the dude just looks and goes, "It doesn't work." And it's like, of course, because wrestling's fake and stupid.
Should we just end it there? What a soundbite. There has never been a movie I have watched in my entire life which has made me hate myself more.
Wow.
I'm ashamed that I'm even in the place at 41 years old where I would end up reviewing this movie for money. I would have thought I would have made it out of here by now. You know what I mean? I'm done.
Well, everyone, hopefully we can do this again someday. Instead of suffering through the YouTube chat, click like and subscribe.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Wrestling Observer Live. This is filthy Tom Lawler. I got no clue where Brian went, but he has left me alone in charge for the next segment at least. So while he tries to save his brain from exploding, I'm going to go ahead and start the recap for NXT last night on the CW network. The show opened with a match between Blake Monroe and Kalani Jordan. Blake Monroe, I believe this is her first singles match here on NXT, making her big introduction to the crowd with a entrance reminiscent of the Narcissus Lex Luger. She had a mirror she was looking at. It was pretty cool. But the finish of this match, God. Blake Monroe took most of the match. She had it in control. She's about to put Kalani Jordan away with her double arm DDT finish. And out runs Jordan Grace. Her music hits. She storms down to the ring. Blake retreats, runs out through the crowd, runs out the back door of the NXT arena. Jordan Grace gives chase. Blake gets away. And then we hear the match is still continuing on. And the new, very attractive referee they have counts Blake out. Like, in the pantheon of bad finishes, this is certainly up there. I don't know how you could actively count somebody out in a sporting event when they're chased by another competitor. But hey, here we are. And Ava, nowhere to make a ruling. So we then had the next match, Chase U taking on the NXT Tag Team Champions, Hank Walker, Tank Ledger. Okay. Chase U, the new Chase U, Uriah Connors, Kale Dixon. Kale. Kale. Like the vegetable. You know what I think of when I think of kale? Bland, tasteless, lame, used as a accoutrement and an afterthought to the main course at best. No one ever says, hey, you know what I want for dinner? Give me a plate of kale. Anyways, he did a great Fosbury flop, despite the name still sucking. Then Hank and Tank hit their finisher. The referee gets down and the referee counts 1, 2, 3, and then decides, wait a minute, nah. No, Kale had his shoulder up, which Kale did not have his shoulder up. The referee blew this, especially if the idea is that they're supposed to count it like a shoot. So the tag team champions crushed poor Kale again, hit their finisher again, and got the win. And then Dark State showed up. And, they were menaced. They beat everybody up, posed underneath the strobe lights, and we moved on. The personal concierge of Ash by Elegance from TNA interrupted Fatal Influence. Laney Boggs, or whatever the new Sassy Southern Belle's name is, also came up, interrupted Fatal Influence. And then JC told Jasmine to go shine her belts up. So it seems they are continuing the dissension between Fatal Influence. That was a swerve, but I guess now they don't like each other again. I'm not quite sure. The Culling were backstage trying to hype up Tatum Paxley ahead of her match tonight. Thea Hale did this bizarre coffee review where she was also trash-talking Nia Jax at hyper speed. We had Miles Bourne take on Lexis King. Lexis King worked over the ear of Miles Bourne repeatedly throughout the match. And towards the finish, he actually broke out some ground and pound. Maybe he's been training on the mats. He locked Miles Bourne into a guillotine choke, which Bourne fought out of. Bourne then hit a zigzag and got the win. Thea Hale then took on Nia Jax. Jax shows up in the NXT arena. First thing she does, immediately, my queen, throws up the double birds to the crowd, lets them know how she feels about them. And then Nia pretty much crushed her. I loved it. Nia won with the Annihilator. But I must admit, her feet were underneath the ropes. So, perhaps that pinfall should be invalid, but I don't think they'll overturn the ruling. And Nia gets the win. Then out came Lash Legend, and they got into a brawl. They brawled throughout the rest of the show, actually, multiple times during other segments as people were backstage. We had what's left of the No Quarter Catch crew hanging out in the kitchen. Bizarre place to be having a meeting. Ren said, now we can spend some quality time together, Charlie. And she started talking about her love for Joe Hendry, to poor Charlie Dempsey. And after she said his name, it indeed rang true. Say his name and he appears as Joe Hendry popped out of the refrigerator. Then he and Charlie Dempsey argued. Dempsey said Hendry is everything that's wrong with wrestling, and we moved on. That's wrong. Thanks. Are you back?
I think I've got it fixed.
All right. Well, we're at Inamura and Stacks now, if you want to jump in with any thoughts on that match. I loved this match.
Yeah, because Inamura should be running the Performance Center.
Inamura
That was my conclusion.
beat up Stacks, threw him around, killed him left and right. Crowd was going crazy. Stacks was flying around like he was in the full-blooded Italians in ECW.
The full-butted Italians?
Yeah, sure.
Was that a team that you were a part of at some point? Huh? Was it better when I was gone? Because, I could just bail for the day. This computer did an automatic update in the, the audio interface. It just, it didn't work with this update. So I had to figure out what was going on and then download some drivers or some BS and install them, and now it works.
Okay.
I hate computers. I'm 50. I'm too old to deal with computers. I'm too old to deal with all of this technology and buttons and crap like that. God!
Briggs snuck in and kicked Inamura in the face. Stacks got the win. And then the main event.
So what was the main event?
Sol Ruca against Tatum Paxley.
Okay,
was it not?
Well, I didn't see it because for some reason, I don't know if there was a sporting event or something, but the recording was all weird. And when I tried to watch the show last night, it only recorded an hour and 50 minutes. So I missed the main event, and I'm hoping when I go up later today, it'll be working.
Yeah. I also missed there was a segment to set up a match next week. It was pretty much the four heavy hitters on NXT. It was Trick, Obafemi, Javon, and then Moose came out, and they got jumped by Dark State. Next week, those four will take on Dark State, and then we'll have all the singles matches between those four gentlemen. And then the main event was Sol Ruca against Tatum Paxley. I thought this match was awesome until the finish. We had interference, which of course always ruins it. And Sol Ruca, who looked like one of the best wrestlers on the planet during her comeback, she looked fantastic. They went to do the Shane Helms style top rope neck breaker, but Sol Ruca was going to springboard into it, and she slipped.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I mean, it didn't kill the crowd, but she got back up. They hit the move. And then...
Did you talk about the Dark State promo?
Oh, I don't want to. What do you want me to say?
I will. Well, you mentioned it didn't kill the crowd. And, this is a very special crowd. They like certain people. They don't like certain people. They have their special chants or whatever. And there's an interview with these Dark State guys. And God bless them. I got nothing against them, but, as an act, it's dead, okay? Nobody cares about them whatsoever. And, they went to that TNA, PLE, and they just got beat, and they're just geeks. But then they show up and we're all supposed to be scared or whatever. And, they didn't attack at some point. They all got thrown out of the ring or whatever, like nerds. It's just a total act full of, dorks, okay? And Saquon is, really good. He shouldn't be in this group, this poor guy. He should be out, being really good or whatever. But they did a promo. And I still have no idea what anyone's name is, except there's Saquon, because he's, the best guy by miles. And I know the Bookworm. I have no idea who these other guys are, okay? Well,
Blunt.
The skinny one.
Is it one of them?
It may as well have been his name. The skinny guy, he's like a skinny white guy with a bandana or something like that. it's his turn to talk, and he jumps in. He's trying to be all tough, and he goes, "We bit on your ass for a while now, right up your butt." And the crowd, they just lost it, and you can hear them laughing. And then, like, these guys are trying to, like, do a serious promo. The crowd laughs through the entire promo. Like, what is this absolute geek talking about? I was like, man, they're hopeless. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Check out this free video and make sure you hit like and subscribe. Hey, listen, we're going to start with the real main event of the weekend. We witnessed with our own eyes Minoru Suzuki versus Butterbean with Dan Severn as the special guest referee. The worst match in the history of professional wrestling.
We all knew it was going to be a train wreck.
Oh, yeah.
I said, this is going to be a train wreck. I want to see this train wreck. I must see this train wreck.
I will give credit to Butterbean. Butterbean was very, very fat, and I don't think that he could walk. And he spent a lot of time with DDP.
Yes.
Did a lot of DDP yoga.
Yes.
And DDP literally got him back on his feet.
Yeah.
The entire first round is just like standing there. And the brawling's kind of like, and Suzuki like throws, he finally gives him a good one. How'd you like that one? So Butterbean falls to the ground by holding onto the top rope, squatting down a little, grabbing the middle rope, squatting down a little further, and then he lays on the ground. The crowd's chanting "Fight Forever," which sounds like a horrible idea.
Yes.
So the ring announcer says, "Ladies and gentlemen, we have just heard from the special enforcer, Dan the Beast Severn. He has ruled that the match is a double countout." And the fans are like, "What? Boo!" And they're all angry. And I'm like, this is the most ballsy match I've ever seen. I heard a rumor that Suzuki was talking to someone before the show about this match. And he was like, "This match, very bad." And the person was like, "Minoru, dude, it's going to be fine. Like, you can do this. You're great. This match is going to end up fine." And Suzuki said, "No." That was it. Okay. And I got in just in time to see Minoru Suzuki versus the Sex Doll. And people were very upset that I did not refer to the Sex Doll by her name.
Yoshihiko.
I have great respect for the Sex Doll as a non-person because the Sex Doll is not a person. But there's a reason.
It's a doll.
There's a reason.
For sex.
Is he going to wrestle a sex doll and have a better match with a doll than he had with Butterbean? And the answer is yes.
Emphatically. The Butterbean match exposed the business much more than this match.
Yes, in fact it did.
The match with the Sex Doll was far more realistic. It was far more believable. It was far more credible. I swear to God, I'm not exaggerating or making this up.
Tom wanted to know if I wanted the recording of the first half of this show. I told him no. You did fine, Tom, but golly, it was a horrible first half hour. I didn't know anything about anything. I couldn't concentrate. I'm all irritated. Then this guy goes, "You can turn off automatic updates." No, I want my computer to be updated. Like, I don't want a computer from 1995. I want it updated. I want the security. Like, I want all of that, okay? I'm fine with it updating. It's just irritating that, like, this happens. But it's got to be done, Tom. And yes, I am an old man yelling in a cloud. And yes, during that commercial break, Dom played the commercial for Senior Care USA. That old guy with all the whiskey and cigarette smoke talking about when you're a senior and getting ready for your funeral. And literally he was talking about people over 50. That's me now. I am now so old, I am the freaking target of Senior Care USA commercials and funeral notes.
And you're about to have a heart condition if you keep it up. Hey, why don't you hang out here for a second and let me finish
Oh yeah, do the
that
main event.
NXT review.
Yeah. Should I
Because
do the deal where I didn't watch it, but I talk more about it than if I had watched it?
Hey, listen, buddy. I want you to do whatever your heart desires today. I want you to feel good about yourself at the end of this show. Okay? So if that's what you got to do,
Why don't you
Go
talk
for
about
it.
this main event? I'll shut up.
let me tell you. I think you should watch this main event.
I will if I can.
I think you
I
should
explained
be
this.
impressed. I would like to talk about the main event.
Well, you're having a
could.
conversation with me, so I was
Will
responding
you
to you.
stop it?
I'll mute myself. I don't.
Sol Ruca looked fantastic. Okay. She looked like, as I said earlier, one of the best wrestlers in the world. But the real reason you should see the main event, Brian, is because there was a litany of interference. The Culling is fighting with Zarya on the outside. Then you have Lash Legend and Nia Jax come out, and Lash Legend puts Nia through the wall ringside. And it gets even better because Izzy Dame decides now's the time. Now is the time to help Tatum Paxley by giving her that doll. So she hands the doll to Tatum Paxley. Tatum stares at it, stares at it, stares at it. Gets hit with Sol Ruca's finisher and pinned. That's right. That's what happened. It wasn't like even like the Annabelle doll, which is infinitely more interesting. At least if it was that doll, I'd be kind of into this whole Tatum Paxley deal, I think. What is this doll,
Dude,
that she loves? Where did it come from?
Have you not been watching this show?
Well, I have,
Her
but not for as long as you.
Her character is just a grown woman who plays with dolls.
So it's not even a specific doll.
No, she has a doll house. And
It's
she
not the
has
doll
dolls.
in
No.
the
She-
museum in New England.
No, it's one of those things where when you're 50 like me, you watch this and you're just aghast that this character is a grown woman playing with dolls in a dollhouse and acting like a little girl. And then you go on Reddit and everyone thinks she's the best character in all of NXT, and you realize death couldn't take me earlier.
Wow. Would you say this is your least favorite gimmick? Because, I mean...
It's actually better now because it also used to be spooky. So it was a double whammy. Now she's just like normal. She just happens to have a doll.
Well, Sol Ruca ended the show by posing with both of her titles.
Yeah,
Which-
I thought Speed was dead, which it
She's-
is, which is a
she's-
funny thing.
Yeah, but she's flaunting the Speed
I
title
know.
around. She's doing the side tongue thing.
It's weird.
Look at this belt.
I don't know what's going on. Maybe they'll bring it back on ESPN.
Yeah, maybe
If they mention, I'm out of the loop. Clearly, have they mentioned anything about ESPN and the Speed title? No.
No, I
Nick
think
Khan
it's-
didn't mention it today.
I think it's
Okay.
going to be on Truth Social.
As long as it's somewhere, I liked those.
Tout.
I don't think Tout exists anymore. I think Tout is history. Okay, is there anything else I wanted to talk about on this show since I missed the first review? I'm sure you talked a lot about Kale and the horrible finish of that match.
I buried Kale.
Amateur
actually.
hour finish.
What kind of name is Kale, Brian? I think you should listen to my diatribe
Okay, yeah, no,
regarding that name. Kale, the worst vegetable. Where's Onion McGurk?
Actually, the worst
Is he coming
vegetable
next?
is green beans. He could be Green Beans Dixon.
No,
That would be a lot worse.
No. In French, the green bean is haricot vert, so he could be Harry Cote Vert.
Okay, I got a question for you and everybody listening right now. I'm glad Lance isn't on the show. And I almost don't want to bring this up because there's that part of me that even though this is sort of my job, I actually don't want to know. I would prefer to remain confused until it was cleared up. Who is that guy that showed up from TNA?
The concierge.
What's his name?
He's a Hispanic gentleman, I think.
Does anybody know?
No, that's his name, the personal concierge.
He doesn't have a name?
That's his character name.
Okay, so he doesn't have a name on the show.
No, that's his name.
Okay. No, that's my point, though. That's what they call him. They don't call him he doesn't have an actual name. His name is the personal concierge.
Yes, it's not a title. That's his name.
Okay. Because this guy shows up on the show, and he mentions that he is the manager of Ash by Elegance or whatever. And so I'm just waiting for the graphic to identify this guy. And I'm waiting. And I'm waiting. And I'm waiting. And it never comes. And then a lady appears on the screen in street clothes. Okay? And she starts talking. And I'm like, who are you? And to JC Jane's credit, she did identify her as Lainey. Okay? But there was no graphic. I was like, are we back to a year ago? I thought
this is the girl that ran in from the crowd.
Yes.
And then had the one
match. This is Lainey
match.
Reed, okay? So at least they said her by name, okay? But at no point during this segment did they identify this guy at all. And so, maybe most people don't care. You probably don't. But, it's my job to, take notes and everything. And I'm racking my brain. I even paused the show. I was like, what is this guy's name? What is his name? And then after a while, it was like, I don't care. If you're not going to tell me, I don't care. So then they, move on with the show, and they have some other stuff. And then they go back to the announcers. And they start recapping this. And I think it's Vic says, the personal concierge of TNA. And I'm like, okay, Vic, what's his name? Nothing. And Booker T and Corey Graves, I'm not even sure they knew he was the personal concierge. They have no idea who this guy is. And so they're trying to explain this segment without actually saying, and the other two guys I don't even think said personal concierge. They were just like, that guy. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. Hey, listen, if that's his name, tell us. If his name and storyline is the personal concierge of TNA, put it on the screen so we know that. Otherwise, I'm just like, who is this guy?
You know who you should ask? Vinny.
Could ask Vinny.
He would probably know the most about the personal concierge since he watches
No,
TNA.
Lance would know more because he works there. But he's not on the show today. I got nothing else to talk about there. Should we go to the rest of the news?
Yeah.
I'll know everything about ESPN tonight on the Dave Show.
Cool.
Although he'll talk about it. So what am I even needed for? What am I needed for?
To press the buttons that don't record the show. That's what you're needed for.
I'm in the middle of an intense identity crisis. It started exactly 49 minutes ago and continues to this moment.
Brian, I got a question for you.
What's my role in life?
To give me an answer to this next question.
Okay.
Could you imagine MVP and Speedball Mike Bailey hanging out together?
Okay, we got to talk about this. I wasn't going to talk about this today, but I will. Okay? Let me find the article because I didn't even put it in my notes today because I read it and I was like, mainly I just need to do some investigation, okay? But having done zero investigation thus far, I just want to read this, okay? Let's see where it's at. Okay, here we go.
Put your glasses on. Your bifocals.
That was actually the funniest thing AJ Styles has ever done. Do you remember that segment from Raw? Do you remember this segment?
No.
Okay, so they're backstage, and AJ runs into Dominic, and he wants to beat him up. And Dominic explains, I got bad ribs, and I got a doctor's note. And AJ's like, you got a doctor's note? Let me see this doctor's note. And Dominic sarcastically says, why don't you get out your glasses, old man? And he hands the note to AJ. And AJ grabs this note, and there's a pause. And then AJ puts on these spectacles to read. I was crying! But anyway, I don't need reading glasses yet, amazingly. I don't know how. So, I go to the front page, and this is from our site. Report. AEW roster member has, quote, rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. So I read it. It says, it's being reported MVP has, quote, rubbed a lot of people the wrong way backstage in AEW. According to Fightful, this sentiment has been expressed by a number of talents on the roster. The Hurt Syndicate member has made it known that he does not like Speedball Mike Bailey and did not want Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin losing to Bailey and Kevin Knight. It is not clear why MVP dislikes Bailey, or if Hurt Syndicate has ever actually planned to lose to Jet Speed. The report also states MVP turned down pitches for the Hurt Syndicate to lose to FTR at All In and Forbidden Door. MVP reportedly suggested they would rather lose to the Gates of Agony, the Outrunners, or Private Party, 3 teams they have already defeated this year. There is said to be frustration within AEW locker room that the faction beats everyone up, high fives to fans, does cool moves when they're supposed to be heels. However, numerous people also expressed the backstage environment in the company is as best it's been in years, and there's a couple of other things there. So I read this and I was like, that is very specific. Like, listen, AEW, I mean, WWE, every promotion in the world, okay? There's all sorts of people that rub people the wrong way. Everywhere, okay? Everywhere there's people that rub certain people the wrong way. Go to work. There's someone there that rubs you the wrong way. Right, Tom? But the point is, like, this happens everywhere. Every day, whatever, okay? This was oddly, strongly, very specific. And that almost never happens. So I read that, and it was like, okay. I read it right before the show, so I haven't asked anybody or anything like that. Like, I've heard things here and there about things. We all have. But, like, this was like, holy smokes. Like, somebody decided we got to throw MVP under the bus. We're going to just lay it on the line like everything. Who they don't want to lose to, who they don't specifically like. I read this and I was like, wow, someone's mad. I mean, a few people, I'm sure. But, like, that was a very oddly specifically laser-targeted story that we do not see very often. So, yeah. Notable, Tom. More after the break. Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Granny, how are you feeling?
I'm good. Set up an exercise program.
What kind of exercises are you doing?
Well, for one thing, just sitting.
I got that one down. Sounds like my exercise program.
Your exercise is just sitting.
Who was the most inspiring person you have ever met?
Granny of late.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
I got nothing better.
I'll have to say myself.
Okay. What's the best part about having a massive heart attack?
Not dying, I guess.
There you go. Good answer.
Jeez, what a question.
Which vegetable would you send to outer space for aliens to try?
Broccoli.
How do you have that so quickly?
Ridiculously fast answer.
You've thought about this before.
It was at WrestleMania, the one in Phoenix. I can't remember which one.
I gotta go. I have to sneeze.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay, bye, Granny. Granny laid on the guilt trip to end all guilt trips. Sorry, I wrote. Forgot we going 30 minutes late. And then you began. Gee, thanks. 30 minutes late. Was not told. Aggravating. I guess my time doesn't mean anything. Jeez.
Wow.
Golly. You happy, Granny? You made me so angry. You're over there snickering, laughing at what you've done. God.
Good.
You're going to have a heart attack.
Anything
like
else?
Granny.
Yeah.
Goody.
Goody, she says. The news of you having a...
What
Cardiac
medication
arrest.
did they give you? To make the heart blacker? You enjoying yourself, quietly giggling over there? All right, Granny. What have you got today?
Nothing.
All right, we'll see you later.
You better have something after all that.
Liv Morgan versus Ray Ripley. Just recently.
That's the date.
You told me that you watched CM Punk and Drew and didn't watch any more of the show, but this was on the show.
I know. I watched this one. Because I wanted to see what happened with Dominic. In which Midwestern city did rapper I'm in Nem grow up.
Detroit.
Eminem.
8 Mile.
Okay, we had a new segment. Granny reads rapper names. That's.
I'm an M.
I am an M.
Eminem.
Eminem.
Yep.
Eminem.
Ryan Adams covered an entire Taylor Swift album. What is the name of that album?
Ryan
1989.
Yeah.
That's the right answer, dum-dum.
Excuse me.
Okay, now I'll quit picking on Brian and go away.
Thanks, Granny. I think the thing about it that that just struck me so hard was like, yes, we have heard situations where people in AEW didn't get along, okay? CM Punk and Jungle Boy, CM Punk and the Young Bucks, Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, we heard about those. I'm sure there have been many others. But like every time you hear one of these stories, it's like there's always a reason, okay? Jack Perry said this in a promo. CM Punk got mad about it. Whatever. There's always like a reason that these two people have an issue with each other. And then, fans usually, well, I like this guy more than that guy, so I side with this person or whatever. But like, you always know the reasons for it. There's no reason whatsoever listed. It's just thrown out in the middle of the story. MVP hates Mike Bailey. It's like, what? And it's also because it's Mike Bailey. What, because he wrestles with no shoes? I've never heard anybody say anything negative about Mike Bailey. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever heard anyone say, you've worked all over the place?
He's French-Canadian.
Is that it? It's just bizarre. I'm not saying that Fightful made it up at all. I'm sure they got this exact report.
You know what else is bizarre, Brian? Got a full Dynamite card for tonight. Or
What?
At least, no, not full, but multiple
Read
matches
it.
announced. MJF versus Mark Briscoe in the grudge match main event. Forbidden Door TBS title 4-way qualifier. Queen Aminata, Sky Blue, Alex Windsor, Billy Starks. 8 belts. Mercedes Moné returns. And an eliminator semifinal for the tag titles. The Young Bucks take on Bro Dito.
Holy smokes. This is a huge improvement in announcing matches. And he can save one for engagement right before the show starts. I did 21 good minutes on this show. I feel better about myself. Hey, After Dark Radio 2 Pacific 5 Eastern, don't miss it because we're going to be talking about dinosaurs and humans.
Redeem yourself, please.
And Noah's Ark. Oh, it'll be much better than this. It can't be worse. Talk to you next time. Wrestling Observer Live.